This is the Inspired Disorder Podcast. I'm Ray Taylor.
And I'm Justin King.
And we are brought to you by Onnit Labs, Alpha Brain. It's a cognitive, basically a brain mental boost enhancer thing. Supplement, it's all natural. But you can go to onnit.com and enter in the code word inspired and get an additional 10% off your order. Both Justin and I use this stuff, and it's very awesome if you're a creative person.
Agreed.
Or just need to have better mental clarity. Definitely did wonders. Took a few days for it to kick in for me. I don't know about you, Justin.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah. So anyway, we are sponsored by Alpha Brain and Onnit, and let's just get on it with it's the first new podcast we've done in quite a while.
Since I believe, was it April of 2010?
No idea. I
think it was April.
I looked up in I don't know, on my computer somewhere to see which number we're on. We're on number 32, which I think there was a podcast that I just never edited before and never put up. So this is technically the second episode 32. But yeah, so this is technically episode 32 after a very long hiatus.
Good to be back.
Yeah. So Justin,
yo,
you and I mean, let's talk about kind of the end of the first generation of the podcast before it was you, me, and Derek Helmer.
Derek Helmer, you are missed, by the way.
Very,
gotta
very
see what's
much.
up to Derek right off the bat.
Yeah.
Obviously he has other priorities right now. A child being one of them, which is I think a higher priority than the IDP, but we wish him all the best.
For sure. Yeah. So I mean, we've all kind of had a lot of things going on, and took us away from recording the podcast.
Very true. Very true.
But now it's back just Justin and myself, and hopefully we'll get Derek on as a guest and get other people on as a guest. But I definitely wanted to change it up this time and make it a lot easier for everybody involved. Just more of conversations with people rather than a structure.
For sure.
So
I am open to that.
So what's new with you, Justin, since we last started podcasting? I mean, you and I, we don't hang out or talk as nearly as much as we used to. But so what's new with you, man?
Which needs to change, goddammit. But yeah. Yeah, man. Lots happened since the IDP first kind of took a hiatus there back in, I think it was April. At the time when the IDP first was about to take a hiatus, I had just started a job working for a local biotech company here in San Diego doing graphic design and production work. Really stoked about it. And actually that job just ended for me just 2 weeks ago. I was unceremoniously out of the blue laid off, just like so many of us out there.
Yeah.
No pre-warning, no nothing. I'm not going to discuss anything else about that, my actual employer, obviously. But I learned a lot there, most definitely. All I'm going to say about them is good stuff, because I did learn a lot about graphic design, about industry trends, about what it's like to actually work in the field, which I hadn't really experienced before in like a corporate kind of setting where, obviously you have deadlines, you have people working with you, and et cetera, et cetera. So I learned a lot, and I definitely, leaving this job now, as opposed to the last job when I got let go, the direction, I mean, I know exactly what I need to do now, what I need to learn, what to do from here, basically. Whereas when I left my last employer back in 2008, I had no direction whatsoever. I mean, the stress level from then to now is just night and day. I mean, I've already actually gotten myself back in school. I just started school on Wednesday of this past week here, and kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, I called, it's Platt College San Diego is the school I'm going to right now. And I called them on a Wednesday just to ask about the bachelor's program, because I want to return to get my bachelor's from this school. And they said, well, are you coming to school? And I said, well, yes, 100%. And they said, well, okay, well, you're going to start tonight. And it was just totally unexpected. I mean, basically, Platt is an accelerated course. So if you don't get in at a certain time, you have to wait sometimes several months to get started again at that level you need to get started at, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I basically either had to start that night, or I would have to wait until the end of May of next year to begin classes. So
now is that that like a private school?
Oh no, it's a trade school basically.
Okay.
They call themselves, it's a college basically, but prerequisites only being, a high school diploma and whatnot. From there, you can just get right into it. They still teach, general education and the whole deal there, just like a regular college would.
More
It's just
geared.
broken down to a more the class breakdowns are a lot different than say like a university or community college. You take one class at a time for 4 hours a day for either 4 or 5 days a week, depending on if you're taking day classes or evening classes. So it's one class at a time. And what's cool is they make you learn your technology stuff you want to learn first. Say if
Yeah.
you're going into graphic design, you learn the Photoshop and the Illustrator and then design first. And then you get into general lit at the very end. So the
That's
GE
cool.
stuff is more like that last stepping stone to where you can kind of just get that done real quick and boom, you're graduated.
Cool. And
So I got back, I'm sorry?
you've did you say you went there before, right?
I did, yeah. I
Okay,
actually
yeah.
graduated with an associate's from there back in
And
2006.
when you first went there, what you were initially studying was graphic design, correct?
Yeah, just
Are
graphic
you still
design.
doing graphic design? Are you gonna like how does it work? Like, are you still going for graphic design, like a bachelor's in graphic design, or is it like
Well,
in addition to other stuff?
addition to other stuff, Plaid breaks it down into the name of the degree is actually Bachelor's in Media Arts.
Okay.
So they break it down into different things like they break it down to where you're learning web design, and once you learn web design and code like
Hmm.
Dreamweaver, Flash, et cetera, HTML stuff, which I'm doing right now. Once you get that stuff down, you have an option of either going into digital video production or 3D animation from there. So that's the step I'll have to, or the decision I'll have to make in the next 7 or 8 months is if I want to start focusing on just web design and video production or web design and 3D modeling, 3D animation. So
What are you thinking of right now? What are you like leaning towards?
at this point, not really knowing too much about how the programs work
Hmm.
for video production or for 3D animation. I'm leaning more towards video production. I think that would be, I don't know, would more tie into the design aspect of what I like to do. Graphic design, print design, web design, that whole
Sure.
deal. So I think I don't know, my desires at this point would fall more towards video. But who knows if I see some crazy shit with the 3D stuff, you
Yeah.
know, I might lean the other way. 3D has always kind of daunted me just because those programs are so complex
Yeah.
and so mathematical
Yeah.
and just so intense compared to designing shapes and objects.
Yeah. Yeah. When I
2D
back,
most of the time.
what's that?
I said 2D stuff most of the time, print stuff,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
whole different realm. So,
Oh, totally. Yeah, back in like high school, I think it was well back when the first Toy Story came out.
uh-huh.
Like, well, let me go back even more. I watched the documentary on Pixar. Have you seen that?
Uh-huh.
It's on Netflix. I forget what it's called, but really interesting. And then I've been listening to the audiobook for the Steve Jobs biography,
Okay.
which is amazing as well. I'm not done with it. It's like so long, but it's instead of reading it, listening to an audiobook form, amazing. Um, but because he was a big part of how Pixar kind of got started, he helped fund them back when they were still doing like commercials and stuff like that. But he really believed
Yeah.
in the technology that they were doing.
Hmm.
But anyway, like just listening to those and then also thinking back of when I wanted to become, after seeing the first Toy Story movie, which was like the first full length computer animated movie,
Yeah.
um, I totally wanted to do it. And in high school, they had offered a animation class. We had two semesters or two halves to the year in high school, and in between they had just a section for electives. Like all the teachers would teach like these crazy classes. Like an English
Uh-huh.
teacher, instead of just teaching English, she would like teach like a strict just poetry class, or like the graphic design teacher or digital art teacher taught animation class. So I of course tried animation out, and just 2D computer animation is tough, and that's like without all the math you need for 3D
Oh,
animation.
definitely, definitely. I took an animation class when I was first going to Platt back in from '04 to '06.
Mm.
And we did do an animation class based off clay figures,
Yeah.
and basically we had to take a bunch of pictures and combine the pictures in Photoshop into
Stop
making
motion.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
just that alone was pretty intense.
Mm,
So I know
for
what you're
sure.
saying, man.
Yeah.
Going back to the Steve Jobs autobiography,
Yeah.
who narrates the audio version of that?
Uh, I forget. It's not, the introduction is by the author of the biography. Let me check. Hold on 1 second. Um, uh, Dylan Baker,
Oh,
which
okay.
I don't know who the hell that is, but it's, for the most part, it's a good narration. I mean, I don't know. I haven't listened to a whole lot of audiobooks, so I don't have a lot to compare it to. But um, I really wanted to read it, and after seeing how big that book is and just how my
It's thick as
mind,
shit.
yeah, my mind loves, it kicks into ADD drive when I'm reading, and I'll be reading pages in, and I'll be thinking of something completely else, and then I realize that I just totally don't remember anything I just read. But since I'm so used to listening to like podcasts all the time, like while I'm driving or on my breaks at work or just around the house or whatever, listening to the audiobook is just like a super extended podcast about this one guy, but super interesting.
Oh, I
Super
bet. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I
Um,
did check that out myself. But I'm with you. I'm forced to read a book now again after 6 years of not having to do so.
yeah,
And it's a HTML book. The class I'm taking right now is Intro to HTML and CSS and all that
fun.
lovely geek speak shit.
Yeah,
But yeah, like we had to, of course, our first assignment was to read chapter one and all that stuff. And I'm sitting there trying to actually read and like not drift away. And of
yeah.
course, my computer's right here in front of me. I got my iPad right here, my fucking 4S and all that. It's so easy to get distracted nowadays, man. It's almost like the internet. We were just so used to having so many different options at once. It's almost like we all have ADD now, and in
Yeah.
in my opinion,
I think
So
some of it is not just ADD, but like our brain is trying to multitask
yeah,
when it's never really had to do that before. Like it's always just been kind of, we've been able to focus and put the blinders on, so we're only focusing on one task at a time. But now it's like, we're like, I just set up some security cameras at my place because I got a really good deal on them. I'm not paranoid. I just got a good deal on them. But it's sweet. But I was, setting those up. I'm listening to I was probably listening to the audiobook at the time, and then I'm like also thinking about other stuff that I need to do. So it's, I'm like doing so many different things. But when you need to focus on like just reading a book, like I got a Kindle. I love it. It's the best way to read a book, I would say. But the book has to be so goddamn interesting, or else I just get completely distracted. Or if something in the book just like triggers my mind, like, oh, I remember this time when I was doing something similar to that, and blah, 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 blah. And then 20 minutes later, I'm like, what the fuck have I been doing? It's like
I hear you,
I'm like
man.
totally out of this book. But
Yeah, so I need to try the autobiography thing out too
you
for
should. I
future
recommend
future novels.
audiobook. It's good, and there's a bunch of podcasts that always have the audible deals where you get 2 free books or whatever, 1 free book. um just do that and cancel, get like 2 free books and then cancel, and that's what I did. But um yeah, it's definitely worth it, and it's super, I guarantee it's like you'll get drawn in. Like this guy is so interesting. Like, you know we know a little bit about the guy here and there, little stories, um but actually going through like the progression of his life, it kind of explains like how, you know people, you can kind of see how people have the opinion, or how he is so controlling, because just
Yeah.
has how he has such like a strong vision of what he wants things to do, and he's like doesn't like to compromise his vision. And it's kind of like just seeing how that mentality in him grows over his life is super cool. And plus, we're both Apple fanboys, so it's kind of like, Jesus autobiography or something.
Yeah, speaking of Steve Jobs too, I actually just watched a, new BBC documentary that came out. It's on YouTube right now, actually too.
Uh-huh.
I wish I could have the URL for you guys right now, but yeah, it was actually really entertaining. It was very in depth. It took it from an outside perspective, of kind of looking at the negatives and the positives of his life and the
Uh-huh.
brand and everything else. But really insightful. It was about an hour long, and yeah, it's just free on YouTube right now.
It's a
I'd guess
documentary.
yeah, it's a documentary.
Okay.
Or if you, I'm sure if you typed in BBC Steve Jobs documentary or something
Yeah.
along those lines into Google, you would find it. But I think it just went up yesterday, and I just watched it
Oh wow.
last night. So.
I'll
But
have
like
to.
I said, awesome. I mean, awesome. The way they cut it up and the soundtracks, they add like, 60s era music to when he's in the 60s, and they do
Mm-hmm.
the whole, like the whole shit as far as that goes.
Yeah.
So it's really just well done, well put together,
Sweet.
and worth checking out, most
For
definitely.
sure. Yeah. I'll
So
have to check that out.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Were there like interviews and stuff or?
Oh yeah, interviews with actually a lot of it was they pulled a lot of clips of his early press conferences too that I've
Okay.
never seen before. Like the press conference before they showed the 1984 advertisement, which I had never seen of
Yeah.
him. Like basically that their stance on that was they're like accusing IBM of trying to become the monopoly on computers and be the one way, and it was
Oh yeah.
actually going to be 1984 because it was 1983 at the time.
Oh, you
And
never
84
seen
was
the 1984 commercial? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, I saw the
Oh.
commercial. I just never saw
Oh,
the
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 press.
pre
Oh,
the
okay.
the press conference
The
that
keynote.
Steve held. Yeah, the keynote
Oh.
exactly before he showed the commercial, and
Okay.
they do a little backstory on that, and it was
Mm-hmm.
1983, of course, and
Yeah.
Steve Jobs was imagining an Orwellian actual like thing happening with IBM and them taking over computers and et cetera, et cetera. So that
Did
was the
they
response was that
explain at
commercial.
all about that situation? What like the drama that it came about before that commercial, before they went through with that commercial?
They did not.
Because
No, it was just
it
like press
was
conference thing.
they're really trying to promote the new Apple, and they wanted to, um, I don't know, they went with a new marketing team that had done a bunch of stuff. I think they're the same people that started the Got Milk campaign and stuff. There's another documentary actually that talked about this, was about this company, but they had filmed it, and it was filmed by Ridley Scott. Wait,
Yeah,
is that right? The guy that did
the commercial, that's an 84 commercial.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Not
Hmm.
Ridley Scott. It's I think it's his brother. He did fuck.
Hold on. Researching.
Yeah, he did I can't think of the movie name. And it's like a really popular name that's come out like a zillion times. Different Blade Runner. Fuck.
Blade Runner. Fuck.
Is that Ridley Scott? Cuz he's got a brother that directs too.
I got the Wikipedia up right here. One
Okay.
second. Let me see.
It's one of the Scott brothers. Anyway, he filmed it for them, and this is right after I think Blade Runner. So he had like a lot of hype, a lot of sci-fi stuff, and he showed Steve showed it to the board, and the board's like, no, you cannot run this. This is gonna kill the company. All this other crap. And this was also like the very first Super Bowl, quote unquote Super Bowl blockbuster commercial. Like, there
Oh,
were
as
never
far as budget and stuff, right?
yeah,
Wasn't it the
yeah. I
most
mean, you have
like,
a
of all
high,
time
yeah, a
to that
big
point?
time director, like this crazy idea of what they're doing, and they spend a shitload of money on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's like this, the company Apple, like the board did not want this to go through, and there was a bunch of like scheming and through Steve Jobs was like trying to play his little game to try and get it on, and also the marketing company. And basically it was aired without permission, like they did it anyway, and
Wow.
it fucking blew up. Like it was the best thing ever. But that's just like one of the examples of Steve Jobs kind of just like not giving a shit about what everybody else is saying or whatever. He just like, he has this idea and he wants to do it. Like he liked this commercial and what it was going to do, and like the board, he knew they were wrong. He's like, I need to fucking go through. Not to say that everything that he decided on was like the best idea, but the guy like holds firm to his beliefs in what he's doing. It's fucking crazy. But
Oh, definitely.
that's
Definitely.
like the book. Like there's like, it shows all these things and how they were drawn out, and it's like so much drama. It's awesome.
Yeah, the documentary I watched on YouTube, the BBC thing I was referring to, they go into how Steve went through this whole like hippie phase, also, which I didn't really know
Oh
about.
yeah.
Like he went and traveled the world for a little while with him and his good friend. And they interviewed a lot of his good friends too, which is really cool. And they
Hey,
give their kind of take on Steve
Justin,
and the whole deal. So, what's up?
your mic's screwing up, man. I
Is
unplug
it?
it, plug it back in.
All right, hold on.
And we're experiencing technical difficulties because Justin's
Can
mic.
you hear me?
Yes, Justin's back
Sweet.
and sounding like a
All right.
human. Yeah, no, yeah, he totally, like, through his whole life, he was a super vegan and would go on these, like, crazy diets. And because of that, he always thought that, like, he had, like, crazy body odor, but he never said, like, that he never admitted to it, I guess, or whatever. He always thought that
Yeah.
his diet would fix it. But yeah, he went, like, super like Buddhist, went to India and all kinds of stuff, and he has always like maintained that Zen kind of minimalist style, like with everything.
Oh, talking about, I saw in the interview too, in the documentary, I should say, he's being interviewed, and they kind of have the text of what he's saying up on the screen, and it's
Uh-huh.
like, he's talking about how taking LSD was one of the most important things he ever did. And I was
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah. In the book, he said
awesome.
it's like,
I had no idea. I always expected Steve to be a hippie because he grew up in that area and
yeah.
whatnot, but I didn't know that actually was a big side of him. So that was
I didn't
cool.
either. I heard that mentioned before, and definitely heard like a lot of marijuana advocates. They always mention, uh, you know, because a lot of people, the stereotype with weed is that it makes you stupid,
Yeah.
and you can't be. You're just going to be a loser if you smoke weed. So a lot of the times, the advocates for it will give examples of all these successful people that have done drugs in addition to that, smoke weed. So, and Steve Jobs is always one of those, but it's like I never knew the extent or how much he had done,
Yeah,
you know,
likewise.
LSD or weed or whatever. And it's like it was like from his college. Well, he started smoking weed like when he was young, like 16 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And I think LSD he didn't use until like his college days. Um, but yeah, it's definitely he said like it's one of the most important things that ever happened to him in his life, like one of the most important experiences. Which I've heard that a lot. Like a lot of people um, that are actually open about taking psychedelics and things like that say how much of it opens your mind to just a new angle of seeing things. Like so people are so narrow in their thoughts and how cookie cutter everything is. It's like it kind of gives you a different perspective on life. And I've never done psychedelics, so I don't know myself, but I'm just saying from people I've heard, I wouldn't mind trying them. I don't know if I'd do LSD, but I'd probably do mushrooms just because it's more natural. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's I've always heard from all these people that are actually open with it. They're always like really smart people, um, and like really introspective and really like they're very creative in their thinking, and they always say that it's a great way to basically like reboot or just refresh and
Oh,
get a
definitely.
view. Yeah, and there's studies.
If nothing else, it turns on receptors in your brain that maybe not were on before.
Yeah.
It kind of opens your mind to a different, way of thinking in a sense.
Oh yeah.
From what I've heard,
Yeah, and there's studies going on like people that have crazy like heroin addictions and other things that there's people that go down and they do these psychedelics in South America where they're legal and because of the experience they have it basically breaks their addiction. They no longer have the addiction to these things. And there were studies back in the 70s where they were working on testing like with psychedelics to help post traumatic stress disorder and things like that. And just recently, from what I've heard, they're starting to do those studies again. So it's like it was like a drug that was at one point had some possibility of becoming a legitimate use for people to help themselves, and it kind of went away because of a lot of different things, and now it's kind of having its resurgence again as far as at least studying it and not just
Yeah,
shutting
for
it out.
medicinal
Yeah,
purposes and not just, negative, that negative connotation behind a lot of that stuff is unfair, for many, many different reasons.
yeah,
But
yeah.
uh as far as just because this is info I looked up earlier, 1984 commercial, definitely Ridley Scott.
There you
He
go.
directed it
Okay.
2 years before Blade Runner, actually.
Oh, okay.
Um, and with the unheard of production, quote unquote, of $900,000, which actually back then is a lot of fucking
Oh
money.
yeah,
So
for sure, especially for a commercial, like
yeah, dude, for
and
commercial
it
especially.
was just everything about that was super historic, and just the stance they took to kind of give themselves the impression of being the you know the human computer, like more humanity rather than the
Yeah,
machine controlling machine, which
the
is funny. It
corporate
was against
control.
IBM, and Microsoft ended up turning out to be that machine, and now Google is kind of turning out to be that machine. There's
Yeah,
always tends to be that machine going on at one point or another.
yes, sir.
But
But you can't stop that. That's corporatism, and that's what thrives in a capitalist society, which
Yeah.
That's America for you.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah.
So what's new with you, man? I forgot to, we didn't get into that. We got into my
Uh,
whole school situation, but
I
what's
don't
up
know.
with you,
I'm
man?
trying to. It sucks. Well, no, it doesn't suck. It's
Yeah.
awesome. It sucks that I'm not getting a lot of the stuff that I want to get done. I'm not able to get done.
Yeah.
Um, Mostly, I mean, financially, there's some things happen, and I had to, get a roommate and stuff like that, and you know, and I'm trying to, get my art going again, and trying to get other projects going again. It's really hard to once you have steam and momentum going in a direction, when that gets cut off, it's really hard to get that momentum going again. And that's really been kind of a lot of the problems, is just getting that momentum going again with so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to set up my garage as a studio so I can start painting again and doing other projects and podcasts and things like that. And it's just, I've been having like a bunch of physical problems. Like physically, I haven't been
Yeah.
able to do a lot of the stuff. Like I had a lot of back problems most of last year, which is kind of, I've always had like back problems here and there a little bit, but it was kind of got to a point where I could barely do anything. Like it was just a ton of pain, and went to the chiropractor, got that all, he freaking got my spine back in shape and all that shit, and I'm trying to take care of that, and it's been doing good. But then it's, like I just got, like, I've been in the process of getting my studio set up, and one of the things I want to get done is getting it's a detached garage, so there's no running water out there, but I need to have a sink so I can wash my brushes and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do like a self-contained sink with a pump and, water sources and stuff like that, whatever. And just the hassle of trying to get that going. And then I ended up doing some in the guest bathroom. The exhaust fan went out and I had to replace that. And I tore something in my right arm, like a ligament
Oh
or something,
shit.
just like burned like crazy. And then the next week or 2 weeks from then, I'm trying to rest it and stuff like that. Then Black Friday happens, and I work in the retail situation, so needless to say, I was working a lot on that day, and I re-aggravated it. And with tendons and muscles and tears and stuff like that, it takes a long time to heal, and you just basically have to lay off it. So that's kind of what I've been doing. But I have a problem, like, because I get so focused on one thing that I forget about the other projects that I could be working on. Like there's 2 book ideas that I have, and I've been working on that, and then I get distracted. It's like, okay, I'm feeling better, so I'm going to start working on the studio. And then so I forget about the book, and then my arm starts hurting, but then I forget that I could still kind of work on the book. There's other little things I could do that aren't going to be so physically demanding. So, that's, and in addition is like this podcast, like I've been wanting to get the podcast going back for pretty much since we stopped. For the most part, it was nice to have a break just because it did take up a lot of my time, but I want to have this podcast going, and I want to be able to do it. So that's kind of why I'm trying to make it more simple for us to do. But
I'm all for it, man. All
yeah,
for it.
so it's
The podcast was something I was looking to get back into as well, to be honest. It's just it's kind of seemed like we all kind of got really busy all at once,
yeah,
so
yeah,
um,
exactly. Yeah, you got your job, and I had things going on as far as, well, I broke my hand too. That was kind of it, and I couldn't
that's
really do a
right.
whole
Yeah,
lot.
I
So
forgot about that.
that was another physical, but that was my own stupid bullshit. But yeah, so and then Derek, obviously, he started working for Apple, which and none of us want to talk about where we work. I mean, we'd like to, but because of just certain things, we can't. So, and then also Derek, got married and has a kid now. So, he's way busy. So getting him back on the show, at least at a regular type of schedule, is not likely. So it's hard enough
Which
just to get you and I, our schedules
for
synced
sure,
up to
for
do it.
sure.
But
But yeah, again, I gotta say, congrats to Derek and Jennifer
for sure,
and
Blue
your
Eye
lovely new
Girl.
daughter.
Yeah.
All that stuff is awesome. And like Ray said, hopefully we can get you guys both back on the podcast with the special guest being your daughter. Who knows?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
in
Yeah,
the background.
exactly. Which the crazy thing this morning, I was telling Justin, I had baby drama this morning.
I
Which,
heard that. I was like, I
yeah,
was going to ask baby drama,
I
Ray.
know
Did
I
you get
didn't really
somebody
want to
pregnant?
talk about it because I figured we could talk about it on here.
Did you get
So
some pregnant?
it's nothing what you would think, I would assume, unless you have a really good imagination and you came up with why I had baby drama. Because I don't have a kid and my roommate doesn't have a kid, so why would I have baby drama? But so I wake up this morning because there's this baby like making baby noises and like kind of crying, but I don't know. Babies make loud noises, and I thought maybe I just left my window open because I could hear it pretty well. Um, but it's been cold. I had the heater running, and I have like the new super fancy windows, so I shouldn't be hearing this baby's noises at the audio level that I'm hearing them. Um, so I thought maybe I just had my window open, and then I'm hearing it again, and it sounds like it's coming out from the living room. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why are there baby noises out of my living room? I don't know anybody that has that child that old. I mean, we have friends that have kids, but none of them are like making those kind of noises. Anyway, so I look at the window. My roommate's car's gone. I'm like, okay, so it must be his ex-girlfriend, is because she hangs out all the time, and
Okay.
and she must be babysitting. I know she does that from time to time, so I guess she's babysitting at my place you know, without her, I know her, but I don't really know her. So she's doing like daycare, I guess. Well, not daycare. She's babysitting, at my place without my roommate there, and that's who she knows. So it's like, I don't know. I felt weird because I didn't want to go out of my room because I didn't want to. I didn't want to have a thing. I try to avoid drama. I'm not big on drama. So, I text him. I'm like, "What's with your girl having daycare at my place?" And I guess her friend needed a babysitter, so she's just helping her friend out. And then they ended up leaving, going back to her place.
Wait,
So
so you're talking multiple babies?
no, it's just
Or-
one. I
Oh, okay.
as far as I know, it's just one. But I said daycare because I was pretty pissed because I just woke
Oh,
up. I
yeah.
got woken up by a baby, and I'm like, what the fuck? And my roommate's not here, but his chick is here, so it's just I don't really have a problem, but it would be nice to get like a heads up. It's like, yo, this is what's going on, type of thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but just because, I mean, just waking up and then all of a sudden he's gone and his chick's here with some baby. It's like, I mean, if something happens to that kid, it's my house, you know? I
Yeah,
don't,
yeah, for
you know.
sure.
But so I was kind of in a bad mood and I didn't know how long they were going to be here. And, I wanted to get set up for the podcast and stuff. And I don't know. So, you know, is kind of
That's the definition
kind
of
of
baby drama.
baby drama. That's my definition. I don't have any babies, so that's the only kind of baby drama I guess I can have.
First, I'm like, holy shit, Ray knocked somebody up.
Yeah,
Here we
I
go.
know. Yeah,
Ray's gonna be your daddy.
yeah, right. No, no, not anytime soon. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm knocking too, man. I can barely even support myself right now, man.
Well, times are
Fucking A.
tough, dude. Times are tough.
They are tough, man.
People are losing their jobs left and right, and you're losing them left and right
Oh, I
at
know,
the same
man.
time.
It's pretty fucking crazy. If you'd have told me just a few years ago that I would have gone through all this in just like a 2.5 year span, would have been
Yeah.
like, you're fucking nuts. No, I'm not. I'm gonna
Well,
keep that
you're a little
job.
nuts, but
I am a little nuts, but
yeah, that's okay.
yeah, it's just the way the cookie crumbles and shit, and
But at least you're on a good direction, you know.
yeah, yeah,
You
like I
left
was
you
talking
left a
about
shitty
earlier.
place and you got into a better place and that's like in line with what you want to do. And now
Exactly.
it's kind of giving you a better focus. So now it's like what you know your direction, you know?
Exactly. And that's something where when I left my previous employer, which was a retail situation,
Yeah.
um, I had I had no direction at all, man. I spent a lot of months being really stressed out, to be honest, and
Yeah.
because it's like that literal fork in the road, and I'm sure a lot of people out there have gone through that same experience where it's like, you're a little older, you're like late 20s, and you always kind of figured, oh, I'll figure it out later,
Yeah.
but then later shows up.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, now I need to fucking do something right now, or I'm gonna be fucked.
Well, it doesn't help when like the situation you're in before, it's like so easy. Like
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
making
yeah.
good
Definitely.
money, you're not doing that much. Um, so it's like it's easy. It's easy to not like
It's easy to
move
fall
away
back on.
from it, you know?
Yeah.
But when you're forced to move away from it, then shit starts getting real.
Oh, definitely. I mean, looking back on things now, I'm not sure if I would change that much. I maybe would have left my previous job on my own and just,
Yeah.
went for graphics right off the bat and just focused on that back then. But you know, maybe things do happen for a reason. It's kind of weird that I called Platt and school starting that day, and
True.
just the whole deal is just kind of like, especially with the job, the my previous employer, the graphic design job I had, just the you know how kind of fate kind of aligned to get me that job at the very last second,
Yeah.
because my unemployment benefits were running out. I was literally fucked. I was running off credit, living off credit cards, the whole deal.
Yeah.
And that job came like out of nowhere as like this like blessing. It's really crazy. And then the school thing happening out of the blue for me, it's just really weird. It's making me kind of like wonder about the whole scheme of things, man. What's really going on,
You're
man?
gonna become a Jesus freak on me, Justin.
Fuck no.
You gonna push the Bible on me now?
No, hell no. I'm just, it's just kind of crazy how those things. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's because of a reason, because I'm not like that at all.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm open to every possibility. I'm definitely not a closed-minded person as far as any of that goes. Jesus could be real, Buddha could be real, whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody knows for sure. Muhammad, for example, who knows?
Yeah.
None of us know what the true end game is.
Hmm.
But I'm going off on a rant on that now. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, fuck no, dude. Go on your journey.
But I've always been the kind of person who's been open-minded to all those possibilities, if not more. So who knows, man? It's just it's just a lot of crazy stuff's happened in the past couple of years. So
Fuck yeah,
it's
that's definitely when shit like that happens. Then you start fucking, you start looking at things a little different.
oh
It
yeah,
kind of forces you
definitely.
to.
Yeah, no, it's almost like maybe well, I almost said the name. Sorry. Maybe
Cock.
the
You say
situation
cock.
that yeah, I said
Cock.
cock.
Yeah. Okay.
Cock.
That's
Maybe maybe the job at my retail job ended
yeah.
for a reason. Maybe this job at my last employer happened for a reason, and now I'm back in school learning what I should have learned in the first place.
Just another
So
step, man. What I
it's just
I
a step
think,
out.
yeah, what I think like helps people, and this is just my own kind of thing, is like if you know your goal and you're focused on your goal. You want to be a graphic designer, you want to be an artist, you want to be a baseball player, whatever. Whatever it is you want to be and you believe it, like you believe in your heart, that's what I want to be. And like it's always on your mind and everything you do is kind of related to that, and maybe you don't realize that at first, but then after so many years you start realizing that, oh, all these different aspects of my life kind of point in that same direction because I'm so thinking about that one thing that
Yeah,
eventually
yeah,
that thing will just start to happen. But I mean it's weird just because I mean for me, I've wanted to be an artist for a long time, and it's kind of, through my life, I've kind of taken breaks and things like that and got distracted from it. Um, but it's always kind of been that thing, that guiding, this is what I want to do. And I don't
yeah,
really know what exactly I want to do with that or how I want to do that, but that's kind of the end result that I want to do. It's like I want to just be able to create and live, so obviously get money for creating stuff. So it's always kind of been that thing, and over the years, like these little things kind of piece together and add to it, and it's I see, even though like I guess if I look where I am right now and what I do for money, I guess I'm really not as close to focused as I should be on that goal, but I'm still kind of moving towards it. And same thing with you. I mean, you had the opportunity to when kind of you were derailed from what was
well,
keeping you
I think
from
I lost you, Ray. Hold
what's
on a
that?
second.
So I don't know where you left off, but what I was saying was, like you kind of get on this path, and like with you kind of got derailed from the sidetrack that you were on at that
Yeah,
one place, and you were able to kind of find a new track that was more in line with what you want to do. So I think it's just for me. I mean, obviously, I would love if I could derail and get on a new track, but I can't.
derailing is
You know what I'm
that's the thing,
saying?
man. You can't derail yourself in this economy.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I
and
know.
that's the
Yeah.
problem
Well, that.
a lot of artists have.
Yeah. Well, that, and then just the responsibilities I have, because I have a mortgage and things like that. And it's like, for me, I mean, I guess I could, let the, roll the dice on the situation. But for me, it's like I've worked so hard to kind of accumulate the bullshit that I have around me as far as just things and place. It's comforting. It's easy. So I don't know. It's just, for me, but I still have that target. It's just, it's kind of tough because I'm not on the easier track to get to that, I guess.
You also have a lot more responsibilities than I do, which is, beneficial to where I'm at right now. I can, focus on school
Yeah.
now and, just worry about that for the time being.
Yeah.
I don't have, the condo you have and et cetera,
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I'm fortunately I'm able to put that extra focus in, but I also wish I had a condo. So
yeah,
it's
but I mean, it's
it's give and
nice,
take.
but it's just a place to live, and it's I don't know, it's nice. It could be an investment. I can make money on it, but at the same
Yeah,
time, shit could go down, and I mean, everything is imaginary. Like our money in our wallet, the money in our bank account, what the cost of my condo is worth. It's like this is all just imaginary, just what people agree on what things are worth. So, I mean, it may be worth something today, tomorrow it may be worth nothing.
true,
The money in my
true.
bank account may be gone. My job may be gone. Like all these different things, they could be gone, but at the same time, they're not gone right now, so I don't want to give up on that shit.
Oh, exactly.
But
you shouldn't have to, or you shouldn't want to in that situation.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, you don't want to have to wipe the slate clean and start fresh unless you absolutely have to,
exactly.
or unless you don't have a whole lot to wipe off the slate. But yeah, man. So to get on to something different, unless you had something else to say about that stuff.
Go ahead, man. Shoot.
Louis C.K. Do you watch his show?
I have seen his show multiple times. Yeah, I haven't seen any in order. For
Okay.
example,
Yeah,
like
don't
a
you
whole
don't need
season.
to. They're
But
not like
I
a
know his style
continuous
of
story.
comedy. Oh,
Uh-huh.
his style of comedy is awesome. Super dry, just like borderline depressing. But then you laugh your ass off, and then
Mhm. Yeah. No, yeah,
good stuff.
definitely has good, his own style and shit.
Yeah.
And the show you don't need to watch in order. It's not like a linear storyline by any means.
Uh-huh.
I think even like the girls, his daughters in the show, like the actresses change all the time.
Oh, do
Um,
they?
but the crazy thing is that he writes, edits, directs. He does like everything on his own, basically, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants in the show, so that the network kind of stays away from him. Do you know
Creative
that?
freedom.
Yeah,
I was aware of that for his latest online video he put out, which I'm
yeah,
sure
that's
you're
what I'm
going to be
getting to
referring to here soon.
exactly. But
But I
yeah,
didn't know
so
that was the case for his show.
yeah, I mean, basically, and the reason why he does that, one, so he has control over his show, but also because the main purpose of the show is to help promote his comedy,
Uh-huh.
which that's like his big. I mean, he's a stand-up comedian, so he wants to promote his comedy. And another crazy thing he does, in addition to writing the show, is that, which no comedians do, or it's very rare that a comedian does, he scraps his stand-up act every year. So he comes up with a new hour of material every year, which is, for a comedian, is crazy. From what I've heard, because I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, I listen to all the Death Squad podcasts, which most of that's all comedians. So they talk a
Yeah.
lot of shop, and they've talked a lot about what Louis C.K. does, and that's actually inspired Joe Rogan to do kind of the same thing, which is come up with an hour of material and then at the end of the year just scrap it and start from new. So in addition to that and the show, like his comedy, like he just did basically the same thing for his own yearly special, which I guess is going to be yearly, but so he helped produce it and edit it, and he had like 6 camera crew, 2 shows. The tickets sold for the shows paid for most of the production, and then he sold it on his own website for $5, which is super cheap. And he like sent an email to everybody, said, kind of broke down all the numbers on the situation, like how much downloads he had, how much money he made, how much it cost to produce the show, and like all the details of it. Like very open on how he made his money. He's like, I could have done this through a major company, and they would have paid me a lot more money. But then they would have owned the material. You would have had to pay more to get to that material. And in addition, I mean, when you buy the $5 thing, there's no DRM. You can do whatever you want with it. You can burn it. He even said, like, you can share it and BitTorrent it and all this stuff. But he made it just completely open, threw it out there, and people, I mean, you could either pay $5 for it, or if you wanted to, you could find a way to get it for free. A lot of people paid $5 for it. So he said it was kind of an interesting experiment to see, left to people and what they want to do. Would they pay $5 for? And all the stand-up in the special is like completely new, not on any of his previous specials. None of the comedy from his show is in the special. So he produced this TV show for FX, and he wrote an hour-long special. And then he's like doing crazy shit. So what have you seen it? Have you bought it yet, Justin? Because you should.
I have not, but it's definitely
it's only
on my radar.
$5,
Like I said, I know about it. I'm definitely willing to spend the $5 and support this awesome just new business model.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say in a sense new, but just done the right way.
Well, it's new for comedy.
New for comedy.
I mean, like
sure.
Trent Reznor did it with Nine Inch Nails for a few of their stuff. Radiohead did it for some of their stuff. And I'm sure there's a bunch of independent people that kind of do the same thing.
But yeah, it's awesome for people like this, people like him, artists in general, to be able to just, use the internet for what it's good for and bypass all the bullshit, bypass the corporate fucking bullshit, and just get your vision, get your art to the masses from you, by you. It's awesome to see it work and work well. Because it shakes up big business, it shakes up corporations. They see results like that and they're like, well, what the fuck are we doing? So
yeah.
Well,
good, it helps that a lot of these people that are doing this stuff are already famous. So they, as far as marketing, they can basically just hop on their Twitter and boom, they, instant marketing.
Exactly.
So it's fucking awesome, man. And the one thing about his show, is that, as well as Wilfred. I don't know if you watch that. That's hilarious. But
Wilfred, I've heard of Wilfred. I haven't. I haven't seen Wilfred. That's the guy in the dog suit.
Yeah, both of those shows you need to watch. They're so amazing. But Louis is like one of the most artistic shows on TV ever. Like, there's one where it's like black and white. This like an intro to the show. It's like black and white. The subway scene. I don't think there's any dialogue on it. And it's kind of funny, but it's like, it's almost like a student art film, but really well done. And to think that he comes up with everything and does everything, he's fucking amazing, man. He's like a great artist and a comedian. And the special is funny too. I mean, the guy is hilarious.
Yeah, it's just inspiring to see, and it's cool to see everybody else in that community along with them doing, supporting him, being like, this fucking rocks, man. Like, good job,
Yeah. Yeah,
so
I mean,
he has one of them, obviously. So
yeah, I mean, so many comedians like respect him, which is always good. I mean, to be respected in your own community, because there's a lot of comedians that aren't, that are really popular. So it's just like, it's one of the things that when I heard he was doing that, I got really excited, because it's just another like medium or another art form that's kind of taking on this new model of like this self-promoting, kind of self-encompassing model of like promoting yourself. And that's that's kind of what I want to do too. And it's it's nice to see it working on other mediums other than just music.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's all it's going to do is just revolutionize the industry and change the way, like I said earlier, the way big business thinks, because they're going to see this new business model that's working,
Yeah.
So more power to the people, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Power to the mofo people.
Power to the mofo people. So you still doing all your hiking and stuff like that, or Cowles Mountain and all that stuff?
Right, the past few weeks since I was let go from my previous employer, I've been mostly focusing on updating my website. I just redesigned my entire website, added a bunch of my corporate artwork I completed for that company. So I've been focusing on that, getting my whole freelance thing going, just so I can start getting work, talking to, a lot of people at my previous employer because, I left on good terms, and, a lot of people that I worked with there have been already reached out to me and said, hey, like, get yourself a LinkedIn profile, this and this. So I'm trying to, get my freelance thing going right now, and I've been focusing on that the past couple of weeks. That and obviously I just started school randomly, which was surprising, but still awesome. So now I got that in my life. That's going to be a 4 day a week thing. So hiking's kind of gone to the wayside.
So you've been busy,
but yeah, I've been trying. Yeah, so as busy as I can be, in my situation. But yeah, Cowles Mountain. I actually did a hike out in farther here, out in East County, in near Hamul, called Mount McGinty. Just about 2 months ago. That was really fun, and much more of just like an actual hike. Like you're going through underbrush. And you're getting ticks on you. You have to brush off and shit. Like it's more of like a crazy nature experience. I mean, I think we actually saw like a mountain lion at one point up there too. It's kind of crazy.
Nice.
But yeah, hiking still definitely I'm still passionate about. I love hiking. I also love another sport I've picked up recently is disc golf, which if anybody out there hasn't heard of disc golf, look it up, YouTube that shit. It's not frisbee. People call throwing a frisbee around on the golf course. It is
golf.
not. It is not that. It's very similar. I'm not going to say it's not similar because obviously you're throwing a disc, or throwing a frisbee looking thing. But basically, instead of golfing, instead of knocking the ball into a hole, there's these things they call them baskets. They kind of like they come up and they have chains hanging down, and you got to throw the disc into the basket, right? And you'll have like a par three, and it's kind of crazy. You get like a driver, you get a putter, you get a mid range, and they're all different discs as far as the weight and kind of the aerodynamics of them and everything else. But it's pretty fun. I've been doing that like twice a week nowadays, just because it's actually pretty good exercise.
Cool.
And you're outdoors getting sun. It's the whole deal there. And there's disc golf courses. If you live here in San Diego, there's disc golf courses all over the place. There's a few up in North County. There's one in South Park, Morley Field, which is actually the first one in the country for disc golf. There's one here close to where I am in La Mesa called Sun Valley, which is really fun too.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I know I've talked to you about disc golf too.
For sure.
I mean, if you ever have a free day off and you're feeling good or whatever, your back's not kicking in or whatever the case might be, man, it's not that hard to do. A lot of it's just the form of throwing the disc and not like trying to muscle it as hard as you can. Because I tried doing that the first couple months I was playing, and I really fucked my shoulder up, my elbow up, just from like trying to bring it around as fast as possible and just snapping it,
Yeah.
But it's more of just like the actual form, which, if you want to come out one of these days, Ray, I'll teach you all about it, man.
I'm
But
down.
yeah, disc golf. Disc golf is fun as shit. So yeah, hiking, I like I said, I'm still passionate about it. I've always loved hiking. But lately it's been more of a disc golf thing just because it's, less of a kind of a time consuming thing. And I just get out there and play a game real quick and be back in an hour,
That's
so,
cool. Did you ever check out that app I told you about, that All Trails app?
I did, yeah. Awesome.
Did you ever use it at all?
App. I did, yeah. I've actually used it. I used it last time I went up Cowles Mountain, which was about a week and a half ago, actually.
Did you track your hike?
Yeah, you can actually track it. The trail is listed there, and
shows
it's
you
all,
how long you took and like your general speed and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's really awesome how that works. It'll judge the actual distance you traveled, like exactly to a T. How fast you went, so it kind of gives you like an average after you're done. I used it because at the top of Cowles Mountain here in San Diego, East County, there's actually several trails that branch off the top of the mountain that a lot of people don't know about. So I used it for that aspect of it because I went on a couple of side trail hikes around the back of the mountain and stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the coolest things about that is just finding new places to hike. I mean, everybody knows. I mean, most people, at least San Diego, that I know about Cowles Mountain and know about like Mission Trails. Or like Lake Murray, which isn't really hiking; it's a street around a lake. But like, there's a ton, man. Like, there's so many. I didn't even realize there's one on Fiesta Island, out Mission Bay area. Awesome. It's not like it's just flat, pretty much. But inside, like, there's a road that goes around it, so you can ride your bike on that. Or, like, inside, there's a ton of trails, which would be awesome for, like, mountain biking. I haven't gone out there yet just because my arm's been hurting and stuff like that. But, like, a lot of guys from work have been getting into mountain biking. My roommate's been getting into mountain biking. but they're doing like crazy trails and stuff like that, and mostly because my arm's been fucked up, I haven't really done any of that, and don't really want to push it too hard yet. I don't want to hurt.
Oh, you crashed
break
the
a
mountain
hip
bike.
or something.
It's going to hurt.
Yeah. So, but this one's like, it's crazy. Inside, it's just a bunch of flat trails, little jumps here and there, but it's like, it looks like it'd be fucking amazing. And I never would have even known there was that out there, or even inside. Like, there's a big road on the outside, but you have to go in these big banks of dirt, and then on the inside, there's like a bunch of flat trails. But I never even would have even known that existed without the app. And there's like a ton of freaking trails everywhere. So,
Oh yeah, I mean, out there by where Mount McGinty is out there, there's a few that are out there that are really, I mean, you're pulling up on the side of the road and you're like, where do I start? And you have to like use an app like that to even figure out where it begins.
Yeah.
Basically barely even maintained at all. Like the McGinty hike, we took like the backside trail, and it wasn't maintained like at all. I mean, we were going through bushes, like I said, was like my friend was getting ticks all over him. It was kind of crazy. And spider webs everywhere. The whole deal is more like an actual, nature hike. Whereas Cowles Mountain, to be honest, is more of like a exercise kind of thing. You're not really out. And if you take those side trails after you get to the top, it's a different story.
Yeah.
But going up that main trail, there's just so many people. You kind of lose the whole kind of like, I don't know. It's not really like a hike to me. It's more of like exercise,
Yeah.
Once you get to the top, it's a different story because then you can branch off and do some cooler stuff, in my opinion. But yeah, hiking, it's awesome.
Hiking is awesome.
Hell yeah. But let me see what else we can talk about here. I went to Magic Mountain for the first time in like 6 years.
Nice.
Last Saturday.
Yeah, how was that? Were like a bunch of rides closed down? Because they were last time I was there.
Actually, no. They're all. Well, it was Sunday when I went. My mistake. This past Sunday here. But yeah, all the rides were open for the most part. There's a couple that they're still working on, and those, of course, weren't open.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, Magic Mountain. I'm not sure if it's just like the effects of me aging, because, like I said, it'd been 6 years since I've been there. But I was those rides fucked me up, man. It was the first couple of rides. I swear to God, I was really, really queasy.
Yeah.
Really disoriented. Like, I don't remember ever getting like that when I was 23, 24.
Yeah.
Never. For those who don't know, I just turned 30 a couple months ago, so I'm up there with Ray as well. So
yeah.
But yeah, man, oh my God, man, it was like, and some of the rides they have there now too are just fucking insane. Like there's one called Tatsu.
Yeah.
Where you get on the ride and your feet are hanging kind of like you're getting on Batman or something, right? But then like these locking mechanisms come around and lock your legs back, and then all of a sudden like harness comes down and they tilt you up to you're basically flat, you're horizontal, and you're hanging there, and then the ride starts. So it's almost like you're flying on the ride, because you're looking down, there's nothing below you.
Yeah.
And I've never really had a fear of heights, but I've never looked down like that, strapped to a machine, and seen nothing at all below me.
Yeah.
Like that to me, like, kind of freaked me out. Like, I have never had that kind of, that rush before, that feeling,
Yeah.
So automatically going up the main hill for the first drop or whatever, I'm already freaking out. I'm like, holy shit, this is scary. This is scary. This is scary. And then the ride starts, and it was just insane. You're spinning around. There's a part where it loops. It's like a half loop to where you're heading on the loop. You're facing straight down because, you're inverted. You're flat,
Yeah.
So that loop, you're heading straight down at the ground. Then you're coming back up, and you're looking out as you come back up the other side of the loop. It was just really weird and disorienting, man. It was just, like I said, if you're older, if you're like around, Ray and I's age, and you're thinking about going back to Magic Mountain for the first time in a while, don't eat any kind of food that morning. Just make sure your colon has been cleansed in a sense.
Yeah.
It's just it was rough. I mean, after the first half of the day, I kind of got used to everything, and it wasn't a big deal after that. It was but it took at least about half the day for me to really get settled and be okay with it.
Yeah.
So and Magic Mountain, I mean, no offense to them, but they got to step up their game as far as park maintenance, man. Some of those bathrooms there are just disgusting.
Yeah,
it's
when
like
I
the
went,
worst 7-Eleven bathroom you've ever been in, but that's everywhere.
Yeah, when I went summer before last, so a year and a half ago, and it was first it was a fucking hot day, hot as shit, and the rides kept closing down, like X2, which is like one of the popular ones there.
Oh yeah.
Like we were in line waiting for like 45 minutes. It closed down, and then of course they're like, I don't know if we're gonna get it back up. So it's like, wait if you want. And we waited and we waited and we waited, and finally it like opened up again. Then it closed down again, and then it just closed down. That so many rides just like randomly closed down, and like you were saying, it looks trashy as hell there, man. It is.
I know.
It's like,
just,
what is going on? Like, and we got stuck on our ride. We were on Ninja. And we were coming in, and we were like, on the approach to get docked back in so we could get out. And it stopped, and we had to wait because the cart in front of us was broken and couldn't move. I mean, it's just like, so we were stuck in the ride. It wasn't that long, like, 10, 20 minutes or whatever. But considering you're waiting most of the time when you're there, 10, 20 minutes isn't that long. But it is, super trashy. And like this last summer, people wanted to go. I'm like, if it's like it was last summer, I mean, and it was super hot too, which just made it horrible waiting in lines that got closed down. But when you get on the rides are fucking awesome. I think I went on that Tatsu one, and X2 is crazy.
X2 is awesome, yeah.
There's a bunch of good rides there.
X2 has the part where you go through those flames. They shoot fire up on both sides of the track as you go through.
Yeah, they added some other shit to it instead of just spinning.
Yeah, but I hadn't been since 2000. I think it was 2005. So wasn't X2. It was still X. At that point, and no fire, no nothing like that. But X2 at night is an experience that everybody has to have. Man, that is just so insane. You're heading towards the ground, straight down, face first on the first drop. Then you flip around. Like it's hard to explain, but it's just awesome. They have a new one there called Green Lantern too that I went on. That almost made me freak out. I almost had a heart attack, to be honest with you. It was
it's like watching the Chargers play.
I'll have to put up the video I took of Green Lantern on my Twitter so you guys can all check it out. But it's basically like a carnival ride gone insane, because like you spin around like the track. It's hard to explain. You have to look up Green Lantern, everybody. Just look it up. It's hard for me to explain, but you're in these pods that are on the left and right of the track, almost like X2 is. But the pods, you're facing back to back with the people behind you. And the pods themselves rotate around, but it's based on weight, So if you're the heavier group of people in the front, or on one side of it, I should say, you're going to make that thing flip around like crazy. And then the track goes through this crazy little thing. It's like back and forth and around and down. And the last kind of half loop you go through on the ride, my friend Neil and I were inverted. So our heads were facing down at the ground. And through that loop, I saw the ground coming up. I look up and see the ground coming up. And I swear to God, we missed the ground by like 10 feet. It was so close. And my heart dropped. Honestly, I was, and Neil's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, oh my God, fuck. And he's just like, "Dude, are you all right?" And I'm like, "No, dude." Like he thought I was messing around being funny. Yeah. And I was screaming in terror on this ride. It was.
You've been skydiving, Justin?
I have not. No, I've always wanted to do.
You need to go, man.
I would love to skydive.
It's not cheap, but it's definitely a life experience.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to do that. And the conclusion I came to basically as far as the whole ride thing, as far as me being 30 and going on these rides, I just can't take the really fast spinny shit.
Yeah, I don't like spinny shit like Gravitron or the thing where it's like, or like the teacup bullshit. I can't do that. I can't do that shit. It just makes me dizzy and I want to throw it. But that started like a long time ago, so that's not just because I'm 30 or 31. However the fuck old I am.
Well, yeah, they're building a new one there now called Lex Luthor Drop of Doom, which is going to be the highest freestanding, where it takes you up in the car and then it drops you. To be like, I don't know, some insane.
So it's bigger than Superman.
Bigger than Superman, yeah.
That's closed all the time.
It's going to sit taller than Superman. Actually, all the rides were open that day, man. I definitely recommend if you're going to go to Magic Mountain, wait till December because there's nobody there at the park. The weather was sunny and cool. The longest wait you waited for a ride was like 5 minutes. And some of the rides we just got to go on twice because there's nobody in line. Yeah. So
I don't know. Every time I go, I guess I go during the summer. But
oh, dude. Yeah, you got to go wintertime, man. That's my first time ever going there during the wintertime. And like I said, like 5-10 minute wait at the most. Like Batman the Ride, for example, there's nobody else in line when we got to the station. So like, keep your straps on, man. If you want to go again, we just went a second time right then.
Nice.
So, good experience. But, if you're a little older, just be careful.
I remember back in the day when I was working at a movie theater. I was like 19. Um, our managers went to Six Flags, and they like took beer and stuff like that. They were like tailgating at Magic Mountain before they went in, and there was one Goliath where like at the end it's like a big corkscrew, and you get
Yeah,
like a bunch of or a bunch of G
you
forces.
do. Yeah, I
And
love that part.
I don't know if one of them passed out or he was just about to pass out, and he just like
Wow.
almost blacked out doing that just because he couldn't take the G forces. That one we were in line to go on Goliath, and there was a storm, and they closed everything down, so we
Oh
had to leave.
shit.
We were like waiting forever, and we're probably like 20 minutes from the line after being in line for like 40, and they're like, "Sorry, storm, we gotta close, safety reasons." Like, okay, just like everything else today.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
The first time we were about to go on Tatsu that morning. The ride breaks as the train reaches the station. It breaks, so everybody was stuck in that horizontal position, like lifted
Oh
up,
no.
you know,
Yeah.
for like for like 15, 20 minutes, man. It was bad. And they're just hanging there, like there's like some of the girls were like, I'm uncomfortable. They're like starting to bitch about it. It was kind of kind of fucked up. And my friend and I didn't want to leave the line because it already started forming and getting kind of long, and we were right there at the
Yeah.
front. We were like about to be the next ones on the ride.
Yeah.
So we just waited there for it, but it was just it was kind of painful to see, man. It's like that's the one ride you do not want to get
No
stuck
shit.
on, because you're literally just hanging there once you reach the station, So
Yeah.
crazy shit, man.
Crazy shit, man.
Crazy shit.
Fuck. So, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about, man?
We covered most of it for the most. I
I
mean,
know.
unless you want to, I'm trying to think of what I can ask you about, man. It's
I
it's,
don't
it's
know,
like I
man.
said, it's been a while.
It's been a
What?
while. We're not used to this
Yeah,
talking shit.
yeah,
Well, that's all right. I mean, we've gone about an hour,
yeah.
so we can
15
end
minutes
it.
almost here. So
But I mean, yeah. So we're just gonna have to do more of these, and we'll just talk about shit and get
yeah,
people
there's
on.
other
And we'll talk
topics.
about more
Other
shit.
topics. We'll
Yeah.
get into
I mean, I
we'll get into
figure.
like some UFC next
Yeah,
time.
exactly. Exactly. It's like I don't before when we were doing it, it was like kind of trying to conform to like even when I talked about the UFC, I'd have to find a tech angle on it.
Yeah,
Um but now it's like we just fucking talk about whatever we want, and it's just well, for the most part, we don't want to get fired or never employable. But I mean, we could talk about a lot. We're not constrained by a format or a category, I guess you could say. So we'll see how that goes.
this is true.
So if there's a
Inspired
movie
disorder.
we want to watch, just fucking or a movie we've seen, which by the way, I saw Hugo in 3D. I haven't seen a movie since Avatar in 3D.
Uh-huh.
Pretty good. It took a while to get like used to the 3D. But I mean, it's all like people. It's not animated or anything like Avatar.
That's cool.
But it was a fucking good movie, man. Martin Scorsese's awesome.
Yeah, I
Have
want
you
to check
seen
out
it?
that one. I haven't seen it, no, but I want to
Okay.
check that one out. Sure. I also want to see that Adventures of Tintin movie, even though it looks
Yeah.
like typical CG kind of whatever,
Yeah.
almost kind of kids movie. It's Peter Jackson and Steven Spielberg, and
Yeah. I heard that's
gotta
really
be
entertaining,
fucking
but
awesome.
you don't necessarily need to see it in 3D.
Yeah.
Like this one,
Um,
Hugo, there was a lot of like they did a lot with like smoke because it's kind of set in a train station, so there's a
okay.
lot of like steam and smoke and like snow or dust. So there's a lot of things kind of floating in the atmosphere to kind of
Okay.
give it more depth,
That's
rather than just like people. But that was, and then like he would go up into the clockwork of the train station, and they just show that through 3D, and that looked. I mean, there were a lot of amazing 3D shots, but then there's some stuff, like they're running through a crowd. There was one scene where this dog is chasing Hugo through a crowd of people, and it's like for the life of me, that dog was just like a blur, man. I could not. It just like broke up. The 3D broke
yeah.
up for that. But I mean, most of it, there was a lot of amazing scenes in that, in 3D. So it's like you get some extra stuff for watching the 3D, but I mean, you could probably watch it in 2D and it'd still be a cool movie.
Oh, I bet. And 3D is only going to get better, man. I'm not sure if you heard about what they're doing with the Hobbit movie coming out. I think in a couple years.
Uh-huh.
But they're using, for one, they're using the new 5K cameras, which are,
Okay.
if you're not familiar with that, it's like like 2048 by.
Super
It's
high
just the
res.
resolution is insane.
Yeah.
And they're also filming it with the new 3D technology where it's actually one camera lens for each eye, to where it's like filmed in actually true 3D, like with two different angles, so
Sweet.
two different viewpoints.
Yeah. Good.
So, but we can get more into that in a later episode too. But dude, yeah, if anybody out there, if you haven't seen any of the backstage stuff or behind the scenes, I should say, of The Hobbit, which is out there on YouTube, also go check it out because they're gonna be doing some revolutionary shit with that movie, and it's gonna
Cool.
be epic.
Yeah, with the 3D, I mean, with big directors, as long as they film in 3D, because there's a lot of post-converted 3D crap, which I haven't actually
Yeah, which
seen.
I never. I've seen one movie like that,
Yeah.
and I do not. I saw Immortals actually recently with the converted 3D,
Yeah.
and just was gut wrenching, man. It was just, it's not. You can tell when the movie is made for 3D, filmed in 3D, and you can tell when it's not, and that's just the simplest way you can put it.
Yeah. And it's important when a director knows what the fuck he's doing, like James Cameron or Martin Scorsese.
Oh yeah,
or,
they're using it for not just shit popping on the screen, like you said. They're using it for depth.
They're
and
using
for,
it as a tool and not a gimmick.
Oh yeah, I mean, one of the coolest parts that I remember seeing when I first saw Avatar in 3D was when that huge tree falls down, and for the next like 5 minutes you see all the leaves coming down, and they're kind of coming down right in front of your face. That was insane to me.
Yeah,
so.
the bioluminescent stuff, which.
Oh yeah, that too.
I think our crazy Avatar review episode was probably our highest down. I haven't checked the stats in forever, but that was like our craziest listened to downloaded podcast.
Awesome.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm okay with the 3D. I don't know. It's like, and in TVs, it all sucks. I haven't found the plasma TVs that have 3D look the best, but I hate plasma TVs, so that's not. And I don't know, man. It just, how they're pushing it in TVs is retarded. I'm not. And then like
I'm not a fan of
phones that have 3D in it. It surprises me that people actually would buy a cell phone that has 3D. It surprises the hell out of me. It's like somebody that wants to be a techie type of guy, but doesn't realize that the technology is more of a gimmick than anything.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, but it's definitely not there yet.
No, yeah, it's not even close. And even just, I mean, even the good 3D, it just doesn't. It's not comfortable. If it was really good 3D, it would be comfortable.
I'm waiting to see. As far as 3D goes, I'm gonna wait to see what they do with the Hobbit because I think resolution is gonna be a huge deal. Having that increase in clarity. Also, the dual lens situation I think is going to be a huge, upgrade too. So we'll see. That might change my mind, but until I see the Hobbit 3D, like just like you were saying, it's almost gimmicky to me right now. So
yeah, I don't know. It'll probably be good. I mean, then there's some movies where you don't need to see in 3D, and then there's some movies like the Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas thing.
Yeah,
like I want to see that. I haven't gone to see it yet, but I want to go see that, and I know pretty soon it's going to be out of theaters, and I will most likely never see it in 3D, which I have a feeling that movie you need to see in 3D. I mean, it's going to add a lot of. I mean, they're using it gimmicky, but I mean, I'm sure it's going to be hilarious. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know, movies. I don't go see movies nearly as much as I used to. After working at a movie theater and working at Blockbuster, I used to watch a shitload of movies, and for whatever reason, within the past like 4 years, I just don't watch movies as much as I used to. What's wrong with me?
Yeah,
Justin?
it's like
what's wrong with
nothing
me?
wrong with you, man. My perspective on that is that it's because there's so much good content on the internet nowadays. There's so much
True.
As far as TV shows now too. I'm not talking basic cable, but you look at like shows like Dexter and Breaking Bad and Sons of Anarchy, Hell on Wheels, just to name a few. I mean, there's a lot of good TV out there nowadays too that you can check out. So
yeah, I used to hate TV, so I guess that's why I watched a lot of movies. Fucking Breaking Bad is another top show, man.
Yeah.
Fuck. I can't wait for the next season of that. That thing, it's just like when you don't think they can go anywhere else, they go in more than anywhere else. They like fucking, I don't know, blows my mind.
Oh, Sons of Anarchy too. I'm just starting to get into finally.
Really, I stopped watching that. I watched like the first 2 seasons, and then his kid got kidnapped, and I think I watched a few episodes after that, and I kind of stopped. I don't know why, but everybody says it's awesome, so I need to check it back out.
You do, man. This last season, I think it was season 3. that just ended, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken. Anyways, was awesome. A lot of twists and turns, involving like just crazy situations.
Okay.
Drug cartels, this and that.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome.
Cool, man. Have you been watching Dexter, keeping up with that? This like
Lately I
recent
haven't been, to
season?
be honest.
Okay. It's
I
kind of
haven't.
weird.
The last season I watched all the way through, to be honest, was the John Lithgow season,
Okay, that
which
was
I think
season
was a
4, so
couple.
you're
Yeah,
2 behind. Season 5
yeah,
was I forget her name. Julia Stiles was kind of they always have like this, or at least
the
in the
main
last,
killer.
yeah, they always yeah, like, or a main star. She wasn't a killer, but she was like the main, like, guest star, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Um, that was okay. It was, and then this one started out really. I don't know. This season's kind of been like moments of like good and it took on like a really religious tone this season, and that always makes me nervous because it's like I don't know where they're going with that, and
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It's fucking weird, man. I don't know. It seems like the writing has suffered, um, or I don't know, man. I'm not as big of a fan of Dexter. Like season 4 with John Lithgow is probably like the best. That was
Like
awesome.
the peak of the
Yeah,
show,
and it seems like
possibly.
they've kind of been struggling to kind of recapture that, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm still watching it though. That
It's
oh,
just that.
dude, show you need to watch Misfits. Fucking amazing show.
I think
It's
you
a
recommended that once to me before. It's
yeah,
a UK show,
it's
right?
it's a UK show. I know they have the first season. I don't know if they have the second season on Hulu. So you can watch the whole. It should be at least the first season. Um, they're in season 3 right now. And the first 2 seasons are super short, like British shows, usually about 6 shows per season. So like it's 12 or 13 episodes for the first 2 seasons, and this current season is like it's amazing. Like there's a character in the first 2 seasons that kind of left the show. And they brought this new character in to kind of replace him, not as the same character, but just kind of a new person to replace him. And it was kind of nervous because the guy that left was such an awesome part of the show. So it was
Uh-huh.
kind of, it made me nervous to see what was going to happen when, how are they going to kind of replace that kind of energy that came to the show. And this new guy and their writing is fucking spot on, man. It is awesome. But it's kind of like, it's like about a bunch of probation kids that have got probation in England, and so they go to this probation place, this community service place, and they do stuff. But there was a big storm, and they were all caught in the storm, and they got superpowers. Not just them, but just everybody in the world, I guess, that had been affected by the storm got this kind of superpower. So it's kind of like Heroes, I guess. I kind of stopped watching Heroes after the first or second season. But way, way better. And the acting is awesome. And it's kind of like a Monster of the Week. Like each episode is kind of like this kind of bad guy came and how are they all going to, or this like major dilemma happens. How are they all going to solve it? But it's amazing, dude. Gotta watch it. And just
Misfits.
the way they use the powers, and like there was a big change after the second season where they really mixed stuff up. And I think they're handling it really well. I don't really want to explain too much because I don't want to spoil it, because it's just a fucking good show, man. Or there's other ways you can find the show other than Hulu, but I'm not at
Is
liberty to
Netflix
discuss
an
those.
option, or that'd be my first
Rental
question.
probably, like DVD
Okay.
rental, but I don't think they have it. Like I don't know. I mean, aside from Hulu, there's only a few shady type of gray area ways of getting it. If you know
Okay.
what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
it's definitely fucking awesome. And I check out the first season on Hulu. I assume it's still there. I don't know if it's just the first or the second, but just watch whatever's on Hulu. But it's an awesome show. And you kind
Duly
of do need
noted.
to watch the first. I mean, it is kind of like a Monster of the Week type of thing, but there is like overarching character development type stuff. So if you just hop in, like right now, you probably like it, but you might miss a lot of the like inside baseball type jokes.
Okay.
But fucking yeah, awesome show, awesome show. It's super
Duly
entertaining.
noted.
Yeah. So because
Um,
that's one of the shows that I keep up with. Definitely. And Fear Factor came back. You watch any of
yeah.
that? I
I
watched like
watched
the
the first
first two.
episode. Yeah, it's crazy, man. The stuff they're making them do now. It's awesome. I enjoyed the show before.
Yeah.
So I'm actually glad to see it back and see that they've taken everything up like 10 notches.
Yeah.
So
yeah, instead of just like eating something or doing disgusting, it's like 3 steps in disgusting. Which one did you see? Because there were 2 so far. There's 2. Did you see the one with like the tattooed biker couple?
I think it was that one. Yeah, was it the second episode or the first episode?
I think it was the second one. There was also like the pretty boy that looked like he was in Twilight was another.
Yeah.
Okay. That one was crazy. Like that end stunt where they had to like they're starting a bus, then they go on top of the bus and a helicopter picks them up, and then they fly the helicopter over a lake. They land in the boat, and then the speedboat goes around. They jump out of the boat, have to climb onto a cargo net by a helicopter, and while the helicopter's flying away, they have to climb up this cargo net, pull out a flare, and throw it on a thing so it explodes. It's like an action movie.
Yeah, dude, I know.
It's like how do you even remember all the shit you have to do on that?
I know, especially under that kind of duress. You know, you're like,
oh yeah,
hanging from a freaking cargo net on a helicopter. You're like, just trying to hang on for your life, and then you have to like actually do something.
Yeah,
like perform a task.
What happens if they don't clip in all the way? Somebody falls.
Yeah, man.
Like when that Twilight guy fell off the net. What if his foot got stuck in the net and just broke his leg? I don't know, man.
I guess nobody died because he would have heard about it by now. I'm pretty sure they already filmed all the episodes for it.
Yeah, they're already filmed. But fuck, man, it's insane. Because I used to watch the show all the time. Like back when I worked at the movie theater and I was a projectionist, I had like this old school pocket TV. And I would be able, because it was on like NBC, I'd be able to get that show. So I'd be watching that as I'm threading up movies, fucking just to pass the time. Fucking, and hearing it come back is awesome. It kind of reminds me of like Wipeout, but like to a totally crazier level.
Which that's an awesome show too, man. Yeah. Wipeout's is pretty entertaining.
Yeah,
it's like Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. If anybody out there is familiar with that, but just the American version that's more balls out, basically. So definitely recommend that one too for anybody out there listening.
Yeah, fucking Joe Rogan.
Oh, I know, dude. It's like instead of eating like a caterpillar in the old Fear Factor, they make him eat like 15 at once. You know, it's
the other episode was they had to eat. Well, they were in. No, what was it? There was like a canister somewhere, and they had to get it out and dump it out, and there's full of scorpions, and they had to see how many, or they had to eat 5 scorpions within a certain amount of time. I know, it's fucking crazy. Show's crazy, but
yeah, recommended. We've done a lot of recommendations today, actually. When I think about it, it's awesome.
Well, we haven't talked for a while, so it's like, this is the shit I've been doing. This is the shit I've been doing. This is what you should watch. This is what you should watch. Okay.
Exactly. But if I had to go back to cap the episode, definitely everybody out there check out the BBC documentary that just got put up on YouTube about Steve Jobs. It's it's really well done. So go look that up.
Yeah, everything I recommended, check out.
Yeah, along with all the other shit I talked about too.
Like the book about Steve Jobs is awesome. I still need to finish it. I'm about to where they're talking about making your home computer the personal hub for all your electronics, to where your cameras and your music players and everything syncs to your computer. So it's like, I don't think they released the iPod yet. It's so fucking interesting, man. It's like the behind the scenes history of the products that you use and how they came about. So, yeah, I don't know. It's good. And audiobooks in general are nice. I like them a lot. But
yeah, I mean, it's a cool way you described it earlier about them being just like a lengthened podcast, sort of, in a sense.
Yeah, so. I mean, if you're used to listening to podcasts, like I listen to, which is something I actually want to talk to you about, and I kind of just remembered. Like if you use like the Joe Rogan podcast, it's usually like 2 to 3 hours long. If you're used to listening to like that kind of length, you kind of just don't notice that it's 3 hours long. Then audiobook, I mean, it's going to be longer than 3 hours, but then you'd be more conditioned to being able to listen to an audiobook. Because there's times where my mind does wander while I'm listening to the audiobook. But I tend to be a lot more focused, especially more than reading it out of a textbook type deal.
For sure.
But yeah, I was actually, because I know personally I've changed a lot of the podcasts that I watch, or at least how I watch a lot of them. Like I used to do a lot of Revision 3 stuff. I unsubscribed to pretty much everything, and I just on my Western Digital media box, I have a way to go. So I still watch like TRS and Dignation, but I'm usually like weeks behind. So it'll be like a night where I just do like a TRS marathon or whatever. Are you still keeping up with all that stuff or what?
Yeah, I mean, not as much as I think I'd like to be, but like you said, I still follow TRS and Dignation. A lot of the other ones I kind of stopped just because I was getting a little tired of the format. Like, Techzilla is one of them actually.
Yeah.
What else? Scam School was starting to get kind of
Yeah, he got
kind of ran
annoying,
its
man.
course. Yeah. There's a few, but the ones I really liked and I still watch. And those,
Yeah.
the main two obviously are TRS and Dignation. I still follow. Um, I'm kind of sad to see Dignation kind of, bite the dust here soon. But
Yeah,
I
I
think
am,
I
but
think
I'm
it is
not.
time for both of those guys.
Yeah.
I think they could both do. I mean, Kevin Rose already has his foundation thing he's got going now,
Yeah.
and of course Alex has TRS and his directing stuff. So, um, maybe every once in a while they can get back together and just shoot the shit. Maybe Kevin could come on TRS or something. Who knows? But
Yeah.
Kevin end of an era. But it definitely is time.
Yeah,
So.
it's surprising that they've been doing that for like 5 or 6 years. It's
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
insane, man. But yeah, I'm kind of over them. It's like boring. They don't really. They used to talk about a lot more interesting stuff. It seemed like they used to be a lot more interested in the stories they talked about. Now it's like they just kind of grab bag, especially that they record like 3 episodes in one sitting. So it seems like it's not like they really care about the stuff they're talking about a lot of the time. So,
when they first started, they'd make it a point to actually get drunk, and that kind
too.
of fell to the wayside. Which I think that was a big part of the appeal was like seeing these two tech nerds get wasted and talk tech.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
and they cared a lot more about
and they
tech,
care.
too.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
oh my god, this is a crazy story. I need to talk about it. Now it's like let's talk about Star Wars cakes. It's like a lot of them are like they bring up a blog where it's like a top 10 things women want your man to do. It's like, what are you doing? You turning into like a basic, like crappy magazine thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's just the uniqueness of it kind
Yeah.
of wore away a little while ago. But I'm definitely, as I'm sure you are, I'm definitely all about the Joe Rogan podcast nowadays.
Fuck yeah, man.
Death Squad Studios, the whole 9 yards. Those guys are awesome. They're all awesome. They're all super funny.
Yeah.
And their range of topics is just out of control. I mean, what's cool is it's more freeform, like what we're doing today.
Yeah, that was my big motivation for changing this shit up.
Yeah, and they talk about. I mean, anybody out there who's familiar with the Joe Rogan podcast or Joe Rogan in general, they everything from the Illuminati conspiracies to to deprivation chambers to
fuck yeah. I mean,
ancient aliens. Just I mean, all kinds. I mean, they cover the whole gamut of just I don't know, stuff that I am into personally. So I really cling to it immediately. There's subject matter, and they bring on guests too that are always relevant and always will add to the conversation in meaningful ways.
Yep.
So good shit all around.
For sure. Yeah, I was actually listening to the Joe Rogan podcast where he's talking to Bruce Lipton. Fucking interesting. God, I'm only about halfway through. It's like another obviously 3-hour podcast, but about halfway through it, and it's so interesting. Like just the ideas and things that Bruce Lipton, he wrote a book. I don't really know what the title of it was, but he has a very interesting angle on things, and it definitely clicks. Like a lot of the ideas that he has kind of makes a lot of sense to me, and kind of are similar to a lot of ideas I've had about like society and how we are. It just I obviously I'm not equipped to explain what he can explain, but I definitely recommend listening to that. But yeah, he'll bring on people like that, or it'll just be his friend like Duncan Trussell, another comedian, come on, and they just talk about random shit and dig deep into subjects. about crazy stuff like the deprivation tank or psychedelics or just what they think's going on with Occupy Wall Street and all that other stuff. So
What is reality was an awesome one that actually
oh
got pulled. It
yeah,
got made into a YouTube clip because it was so crazy about Joe Rogan just ranting on like what reality is in the first place, and what
yeah,
is this experience we're having.
those are
You know,
amazing, man. Some of those
yeah,
what Justin's talking about is a lot of people are taking like a bunch of different audio clips from podcasts of Joe's and kind of putting them all together to do like this long extended rant on a specific topic. Like there was one on Occupy Wall Street, and then the one he was talking about was the one on like what is reality, and like they're fucking interesting. And I always try to retweet those or post them on Facebook or whatever, because there's a lot of people that don't listen to them. But getting all of those clips from all the different shows kind of put together in like one concise type of a rant is awesome. And fucking, and a lot of the video that they put that stuff to, and like the music they lay under it, so well done, man. So
definitely.
awesome. But yeah, that's definitely, I listen to all the Death Squad stuff and the Joe Rogan stuff. Most of the time I've been actually just trying to watch it, because the new studio, have you seen the video that they do now? Well, they've always done
I
video.
haven't seen the new video too,
Because
but
they just got a studio. Basically, it's like in a room by a comedy club, Ice House Comedy in Pasadena. So he set up a studio, so with cameras and mics and stuff like that. And if you watch the video one, like it's like really good. Like he'll switch between cameras, and he has like two projectors that are kind of projecting in the background, and it's just like, so I tend to see which new ones they've posted up on Vimeo. You usually either go to Joe's website, joerogan.net, to see if he has any new videos posted up, or I'll go to deathsquad.tv to see if there's any new Death Squad videos. But I try to watch the video. I mean, I love listening to it, while I'm out, but when I come home, instead of finding a podcast like a Techzilla or something like that, or just finding a show to watch on Netflix, I'll just pop one of those on, and it's just, I don't know, it's basically the same thing, because you're not really, although there are some podcasts which is kind of annoying on the Death Squad one, where they play a lot of YouTube videos and they're commenting on it, and for audio it sucks. But for video, it's awesome, because they'll show you the video that they're talking about. But I mean, most of those are supposed to be audio, and it's that's kind of annoying. But it's it's, most of them are comedians, so even if it's you're not really seeing what they're talking about, it's still pretty funny.
oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, the cast of characters in that show is just insane. Everybody from comedians to people like Graham Hancock. If you don't know that guy, look him up. Awesome author. But just all sorts of people from different walks of life that that preach about subjects that Joe's interested in. He brings them on, and they have awesome discussions. So,
and he's pretty open-minded and leveled about stuff. Like, I mean, he doesn't just outright disagree.
Guy, man.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people dismiss Joe Rogan as just like the UFC guy who does the fight card, and
or the Fear Factor guy.
The Fear Factor guy,
Yeah.
But no, man, the guy he's a smart dude, and that's but easiest way I can put it. He's a smart guy. He's an educated man. He's not just going off on all these subjects because he wants to or feels like it. He actually knows a lot about them. You know?
For sure.
So,
faux show. So check that shit out, bitches.
yes.
Oh, dude, fucking the Ice House Chronicles. Have you listened to any of those yet? On the Death Squad?
I have not. No,
because that's basically they'll do
on Facebook. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, they usually do. They have like 2 comedy shows a week at that comedy place with like all the people that are on all those shows, which I really want to go to. But and then like before the show, they'll have comedians going, and then throughout the show, they just kind of keep it going. So it rotates with the people that come in. They'll like talk, and then they'll go on stage and do their comedy, and then there's a different group of people, and it kind of just cycles through all the different comedians, and it's like all of their friends. So it's like the all-star podcast. Like you'll get like all these different. It's so good. There's only one that was kind of boring, but the majority of them are fucking amazing. Like the last 2 have been really good, and I think they just did another one like last night or something recently. But those are fucking crazy, and those are usually really long. But
those are through Death Squad though.
Yeah, they're
Ice House. Okay.
Yeah, you just subscribe to the Death Squad podcast on iTunes, and I mean, there's some. I mean, you may not like all because it's instead of having a different feed for each show, they're both all of them are dumped onto the Death Squad iTunes thing. But if there's one you don't like, just skip it. But there's so many of them that are funny. It's very rare that there's one of his podcasts are like boring. And then those Ice House Chronicle ones, it's usually in like 2 parts because they're so big. But they're fucking entertaining as hell.
Oh yeah, to make a long story short, if you have an open mind or consider yourself to have an open mind, and if you like funny shit, check out Joe Rogan podcast, Ice House Chronicles, Death Squad, all that shit.
Yeah.
Just go into it with an open mind and be ready to laugh and be entertained and mind expandedly.
I mean, you might disagree with some of that shit, but it's entertaining and it's at least a fresh perspective on a lot of shit.
Yeah, for sure.
But
which is what we're trying to bring to this podcast.
Fuck
so
yeah, man.
a lot of it's inspiration for us. So let's do this shit right.
That's right. And a lot of that is brought to you by Alpha Brain. This shit is supposed to make you smarter. Not like limitless smarter, but like realistically, it clears your shit up in your head. Makes you think faster. I took some of this. I was going on a trip with my girlfriend and her sister, and it was in the time I was doing new business cards. And I had just started, and I literally designed like 3 different business cards in my head on the way there. Just because my brain was on fire, and I come up with so many ideas, and like my brain just seems so clear and so like everything's so precise and organized in my head. It's amazing. But if you go to onit.com and you buy, Alpha Brain, they have other stuff like New Mood, which is a mood enhancer, makes you feel better. And then they have the Shroom Tech stuff. So if you're a crazy like athlete guy, it helps you out. But if you buy any of that stuff, enter in the code INSPIRED and you get 10% off your order. So do that, bitches. And help support them because they help support us. And you can always go to inspireddisorder.com/podcast, and you should be able to donate there. We do have some shirts, and of course I will be doing other stuff, but you can always do that stuff, or just drop us a line at inspireddisorder@gmail.com. You can follow me at twitter.com/RayTaylor. And
I let me see, where am I at nowadays? I'm at twitter.com/JustinKing1 still, capital J, capital K, number 1.
Sweet. And what's your website, Justin, so people can check that out?
My website is jkdesigns.co. So JK, the word designs spelled like it is .co.
Nice. And
none of that www bullshit, none of that, just jkdesigns.co.
The internet's so smart, you don't need to add that www shit anymore. And you can go to inspireddisorder.com, and that's where all my shit lies. So this has been episode 32 of the Inspired Disorder podcast. We're gonna be doing more of these. So tell your friends to subscribe and become completely obsessed. All right, peace out.
Peace out.
Here's to the crazy ones.
Right on.
The misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.